Welcome to another episode of Bright Headed Publishing Audiobook Book Club. I am your host, Kelly Morgan. I am very excited to be here today. I'm going to bring you another spoken word artist, a poet. I love when the poets come through and share their craft with us. The poet I have with us today is very talented. Her name is Natasha Williams. She is from Birmingham, Alabama. Now, Natasha started writing young in her youth, writing poetry in her notebooks. And she says several years, tears, and lessons later, she began writing her own books. And she's actually going to publish a memoir entitled Push Forward, A Savage by Experiences. And that book has yet to be released. And when it is, we're going to definitely have her come back and share with us. But today she's here to share with us her poetry, which is based on her personal experiences. It's called Spoken Word by a Spoken Soul, Her. Now, as a young writer, Natasha spends her time doing spoken word artist across her community. She also travels and she blogs and she connects with her readers by continuing raw growth from within. Her life experiences have allowed plenty of spiritual and evolving content. They're also a release from mental illness issues and how she has overcome mental illness issues. And she is a proud advocate for those with mental illness issues. And so kudos to her for that. I am very excited and very honored to have her to bless us today. So everybody, please welcome Natasha Williams. Natasha, thank you so much for being here with us today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am excellent. So I'm so excited that you're here. I love spoken word and I love when poets come through. So I'm really excited for you to share your stuff with us. But before we get into that, please tell us about you and your journey and how you came to be this spoken word artist.
Okay. My name is Natasha and my stage name is Her Soul Speaks because I write poetry and I do a lot of spoken words around my city. I'm a Southern girl, but I like to say with a different energy. I began writing poetry, as you stated, when I was young. It was really just then a way for me to kind of, release a little bit and kind of express myself and get to know myself a lot more, kind of reflect a lot more better. But in 2015, it really helped me through some dark times. And also it helped me when I started struggling with a lot of mental illnesses. And it was a release for me then as it is for me now. So, thus far, I've written 2 books. I've published one. I'm finishing another one. And I've also, have another one that is still in back office. It's called Push Forward, Savage by Experiences. It's basically, a story of my life. It's a memoir telling about my experience during that time and how I basically got through it. It's kind of like a self-diary, but also kind of like a healing process going through. And it should be out hopefully next year for the most part. However, I do write for many reasons. One being to offer this knowledge and these services to other writers and creatives like myself. And also my career has been built on passionately just pursuing my own dreams while trying to help others pursue theirs as well. So it's just at the beginning now, but hopefully it gets a lot bigger going forward.
I'm sure it will. So on your book, did you self-publish your book?
I self-published Spoken Word by a Spoken Soul, Her. And I will be publishing my new one as well.
So you are in the world of self-publishing, as I find a lot of authors are. And so the thing that I've learned about self-publishing is that you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot to learn from what you think you probably know. So now that you're a published author and you want to help others, what's one misconception that you had before you got published, and what advice would you give somebody who wants to be published?
One of the misconceptions that I had was all the work that actually goes into constructing an entire book. Not only do you just get to write the story, but you also have to worry about plot twist and keeping your readers' attention. And it sounds a lot easier than it actually is. Although writing kind of comes natural, it's also something that you kind of have to organize as well. I feel as though you can sit there and write a book. Anybody can sit there and write a book, but I feel like in order to be an author, it's the constructive criticism for yourself. I feel like that makes it, that more professional or that more published, I guess. As far as advice for other writers, I would just say do your research. And I know that sounds cliche, but do as much as research as possible before you invest any of your money into any of these other companies, because a lot of the things that they're charging you to do, they'll charge you to do twice as much as what you can just simply do yourself. And there's so many free programs and so many resources that you can actually pull from versus putting $3,000, $4,000 into one company that may or may not, do exactly what you want them to do as far as your content.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And not knowing where to go for resources is a big issue because there's a lot of free resources out there. It's really about putting in the time to really become published. And so you said that you had mentioned that you started writing during some dark times. Is the dark times a catalyst? Do you think, is that your inspiration to write? Is that what gets you through those dark times? Is that ability to write?
Yes, because for me, I feel as though it's hard for me to speak about a lot of things a lot of times, and I'll hold so much in and I won't actually communicate how it is I feel for fear of how I might make others feel or for fear of how people might judge you or things like that. So writing for me kind of allows me to just freely express and just be myself and put my thoughts into a book. And I didn't know it was that interesting at first, but off of just doing spoken word shows and things like that, apparently it is a lot more interesting than I thought it was.
Well, because a lot of people probably feel the same way that you do.
Yeah.
And I think as just people, we have a lot more in common than we think we do.
Yeah, we do.
When it comes to feelings and the way that we deal with problems. And so your words probably helped somebody who didn't know how to express themselves.
Right.
So I'm sure you helped somebody.
I hope I did.
I'm sure you did. So I'm excited for you to get into the spoken word. What I thought we would do is I thought you could just read from your book. There's no need for me to interject and say anything while you are basically on the stage doing your thing. And so please tell everybody where they can get your book. Let us know what you're going to be reading from your book. And Natasha, I will be quiet and the stage is yours.
So you can get my book on Amazon Kindle. It's going to be Spoken Word by Spoken Soul, Her by Her Soul Speaks, aka Natasha Williams. Also, you can get it on my site as well, hersoulspeaks.wixsite.com/5. And I guess we'll go ahead and start the book. The first one I'm going to read is called Ghost in Transparency. I'm here now with this fearful shiver, and I can't even understand these emotions with this hesitant quiver. My mind is cloudy in these smoke-filled clouds, heart bleeding tattooed on my arm. I step back, throw my hands up, and turn a cheek just to see. Will you come to me? Run to me? Or at all do you bleed? Do you see me? And basically, I wrote that poem in a time in which I felt like one of those moments where nobody really understood where I was coming from. I wrote it in transparency, basically how it says. So I was somebody that I felt like I wasn't being seen. And at the same time, I just felt like I was being totally transparent with how I felt and what I was experiencing at the time. The next poem I'm going to read is called The Garden of 25. And I'll go ahead and tell you what that one is about before I actually read it. I wrote it and released it at 12 a.m. on my birthday. I'm 25 years old. I just turned 25 April 23rd. So I released it that night. And basically, it was a conclusion of everything I've learned within the 25 years I've been living. So the Garden of 25, 20 fine, and I've dropped several dimes. Original in my era, comfortable in my skin, naked while I write this. Lover by nature, gentle as a soft kiss. I'm a soul anyone could miss. I'm gonna also say I see no perfection, and I'm thankful in adoration, in love with what I see every morning in my reflection. It's not about the appearance or the account in a bank that don't belong to me. And at least with this energy, there is no fee. I'm genuine with mines. I'm smooth with the rhymes because I know what I say to you has no return. So I make it worth the effort to even speak to you. Let's be real. We have too many meaningless conversations worried about the next generations. We could complain all day, but what are we really putting out there where we say what we say? Yeah, you need to mean it, but you can keep it. If it has no sense, no purpose, no intent. Oh, you want to find peace, you say. Worry about you, handle yours, and don't be out here everybody face. I didn't say be selfish, use your love. Despite what you see, a lot of people out here got it rough. So this one is called New Compass, and I wrote it when I basically kind of found a new direction in life, and I feel like my perspective changed. Everybody knows when you come over the age of 25, things don't look like they used to look when you were 19 or when you first started in your 20s. And I just feel like, I don't know, I kind of grew a new perspective. I would say now that we're nearing towards the end of the year, I learned a lot more than what this poem even says, but here's New Compass. I'm looking by my own direction because I don't intrude to be over-invested, just a blessing. I'm covering my ears because the positivity, the growing affirmations, and genuine love is all I want to hear. This is not me in a box. This is me in a garden of learning and becoming, and there's boundaries here. So before I allow myself to indulge in the rush, the force, or the press, I'll take precautions to keep my energy clear. This is not a boomerang, so I won't be revisiting old factions. To become undone is to become complete, so no distractions. I'm making subtractions. So my next poem is called Late Thinking, Early Thoughts. And basically I named this one because it is exactly what it says. I wrestle with anxiety sometimes, so I'm often up late, probably 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And literally I watch the sun come up. So this is what I think about at that time. This is a 2 a.m. flow, and I'm going to keep it simple. You don't gotta beg. I know you'll do anything for this smile with a dimple. Quite honestly, I'm not for everybody. I'm nothing that compliments someone cocky as your side hobby. Let's take a ride to the mountain. Let our creative thoughts flow like a fountain. Play that 6-lack, play that big crit, play that scissor. I love good music that helps the world fizzle. I'm not running away, no, I just need a break. Realign and filter through my intake. I'm the friendliest introvert, the kindest person with my type of hurt. But I'm grateful for time and energy. Grateful for the love that derives when we come together in the synergy. For the peace among masses I stand. For the level up of the lowest, I'm a fan. And to you, this may seem like the most, but I'm a lover of blossoming. I'm a lover of growth. Another one I have here is called Well-Aged Wine. Well-aged wine is basically about the process that it takes to age wine. So you know that wine it sits in barrels for years, and the best is the oldest wine. So I look at life like that as well. The older we get, the better we get, because the more we learn. And basically we're just sitting here letting life marinate into us, and either you can let it overtake you, or you can take all the lessons and things from it and become the best you. So well-aged wine. I try not to live inside my head, to even sit with myself. A lot of fears I had to shed. When it got crazy and full, I used to shut down, let my brain become the mule. Now when my thoughts want to act up, I go ahead and strap up. I'm praying at the crack of dawn, letting Satan know I'm not his spawn. I'm getting my mind right when I sit here and meditate. I do everything positive to elevate. I'm not one of those for hindrance. I get out here, love, and do my due diligence. Little patience, some hard work. Tell lazy spirit I ain't one to flirt. I stay up, keep my head on a swivel. I make a demon shake and a negative energy shiver. Chakras all aligned and the purpose has been quite centered. Before I lose myself again, I always remember that authenticity is over perfection. You'll find something creative, optimistic, but overall solid looking in my direction. Catch an erection, I make them stand up in liberation. And another one we have here is called Mind on Swim. So basically when your thoughts are just everywhere. And it may be a compilation of random thoughts, but I guess this is my mind. When it is this quiet, my thoughts sound like they speak to me. God and his universe speak against it. For I know I can think on impulse, thinking myself into an oblivion of optimism that turns to belief. And I wonder why my heart pushes for relief. I'll tell you, anxiety is ongoing, but so is peace. I believe I have come to terms realizing a lot of this choice as well. Well, most of it anyways. I don't have a choice that my thoughts run twice as rapid, almost off a cliff in valley shades. But I do have a choice that I rise to the light of knowledge. Not in the aspect of college, just in the fact that my creator still holds my mind intact. Actually, this is a plus because I have to think quick, so it heightens my intelligence. And in conjunction, I could never go wrong because my intentions remain benevolent. Another one that I have is called Ascension, and it's actually one of my favorite ones because I don't know if anyone has ever heard of the song Ascension by Janae Aiko. That's one of my favorite songs. It basically describes how we just kind of let go all of the weird things we take on in the world, like pain and suffering and things like that, and we just rise to the occasion in which we were actually made to be in the first place. I find direction in the journey of my hike, and there's a level head of faith in the ride of my flight. When you go higher, there's a value at which actions must take place. I find life when I open my mind to this state. Always running but never find, always speaking when we didn't write this rhyme. Oh, here I go. The adventurous, loving urban poet with a flow. And I'm speaking with a full soul. Because I learned a long time ago, understand the you, what's around you, will become aware too. And don't try to rush the time. Once it's gone, you can't get it back, and then you drop the dime. Although I'm here, my soul has gone through dimensions, and I was sent this one time again for this lovely ascension. This one actually is from when I actually remember some crazy times that happened in 2015, which that's actually when I got diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And I don't know, it was a weird time in life. So I often sometimes remember those times and they actually catapult me further because they help me remember how strong I am. So there was a space and time when I found myself in love with a man till I had to blossom from that plant. I kept growing into a new breed of flower, went through a cleansing of April shower. He could not save my seed to devour. He could not have my seed to devour. I found myself in a new connection, a love from inside projection. Stay underneath the confusion of others in society long enough, you start finding and loving you tough. That confusion is an illusion. Once that third eye opens, it's only distraction that creates a diffusion. And my point is, don't be blinded by life's little scuffles. Don't be restricted by pain's muffles. Fight through it harder and live through it. My Journey's Bible is the next poem that I'm reading. And basically it just talks about how how you read a Bible and it tells you about life. And this is just what my journey taught me about life. Lacing up my dancing shoes to go for a spin. I'm in a beautiful space to win. I wish you'd see each moment under my rock without judgment. I guess those moments spent alone is what made me cement. It's like a portrait of the sun rising, an image of the spirit letting go and diving. Christmas without things taught me how to be this humble, taught me appreciation and how not to fumble. Losing a love without a proper goodbye made me cherish each moment. Just as constant losing taught me to forget my opponent. Seeing my circle succeed taught me persistence, and dealing with manipulation taught me grace with resistance. Reality is everything, but faith with everything is fine. Being focused reminded me something we can't get back is time. Another poem I'm going to read is called Strip Show. Basically, it's about a person, maybe a woman or a man, revealing themselves not for their body, but for what's actually inside of them. So it may be their mind, it may be their heart, it may be their intuition, it may be their wisdom. That's basically what this is about. Oh, you see me. You see me, huh? Over here with my black dress, looking at me, red lipstick like, oh yes. But from my perspective, you failed the test. Because I want to see more, say less. This ain't a game, baby, it's my heart, and it's straight like that from the start. I've had my fair share of lessons, I'm just waiting for the blessing. Because I love past the dust, particles, and time. I really treat you like you're mine. Until recently, when I learned, don't give too much, you'll get burned. Give only what you're given, that's what they say. But I want more than temporary, I want it to stay. I'll take that scar though, I'll be okay. Wasn't all your fault, there was someone I truly never forgave. And like always, y'all, I'm just trying to keep it real. Her soul still speaking, just letting you know how I feel. This next poem is called The Woman in the Silhouette. And basically, it's just about how you would probably like someone to see you versus how people may actually see you. Sometimes the ink will spill from my tattoos. Intentional scars, though, I paint my journey through tools. That's why I sit amongst myself and God away from the fools. Because I'm crafting my life through the lessons I've learned, not the moves. Call me old because I took the advice. And to me it was worth it because I saved myself advice. Learn the hard way, deaf ears pay the price. Wrong is out there, most times I chose right. But overall it saved my existence, and that's why I owe God my repentance. Another one of my favorite poems is called 222. I don't know if anyone is really familiar with angel numbers and the sequence of angel numbers and what they may mean, but 222 basically means awakening and enlightenment. And this is a point of life where I was in that stage and I learned so much. It was kind of scary because it was like the universe was talking to me in a way, in all types of ways through people and things like that. But this is what I was experiencing, and this is how I was able to put it into words. It's the 22nd minute of the second hour, and I'm lighting sage while I puff my smoke, sorta high on life, take a toke. I'm beautiful when I'm full and loving me at the most. Feels like I'm chilling in the summer on the west coast. Don't mind me if sometimes I slide. I'm empathic, love hard, feel hard, so I must recharge my vibe. Sometimes my emotions I cannot hide, and I'm just letting this energy ride. I'm learning how to set this aura, quite honestly. It's peace of euphoria. I'm not pressed, not stressed. I'll be blowing with the wind, aligning my spirit and earning my win. Deep breaths and meditation. Live life in moderation. I spoke out of pain, not healing. Now that I'm learning, growth it is, limitless, no ceiling. This is how I express this feeling. This one's called Now Feel Me. Oh, you seen it. The glow that surrounds me, the bottom you stare at so profoundly, yeah, that's all me. But could you wait a moment? Matter of fact, I know you will, if you really want me. And as much as you want me, and I want you passionately, mentally, and soulfully, what else do you see? Did you ask why I glow so profoundly and brightly? What makes me this happy? What pulls me away from myself? What internal lessons I've learned from the fights of my life? My God, what do you want from me, son? They all have a way with words. A few got the paper, some got the word, but no heart to match it. And that's besides the point. But who really got it? I mean, you're all sweating me with the things most females engrave in their minds because they think it's what they need. But if you just pass me the tree, I mean, I'll be just fine, brother. Enough about me. Let me pick your brain because a sister like me, the essence is insane. And of course, I want fulfillment. Spiritually, mentally, physically, and soulfully. But not at the expense of yours, King. Whatever you put into me, know that I'm pouring back into you tenfold. Women may be a lot of things, but don't overlook that we'll go the mile when we're treated right. Don't forget, aside from me staying after you stepped on my heart, I still poured what was left of me into you. Turned around, found me again, and kept building on everything that was renewed. That's why we'll call you ungrateful. Nah, we don't hate you. You just find the things wrong, and the good woman who humbly flawed came to herself by fulfilling her purpose and healing you. The tables have turned now because I see both sides, and even though I don't play them, I understand how trifling we all can be. Can't be a creative without separating what you feel versus what it actually is, because what it actually is that of which pushed you into finding several other ways to live it and do it right. So set aside from what you feel, kings and queens, let's acknowledge who we are and what we need according to what is in us. And I know you see me glow and doing several other things that can add on to you, but ask yourself, what do I have that actually helps, and what do you contribute that pulls us both up a step? Now, feel me? Last one I'm going to do is called Sunflower. And mainly because I really love sunflowers. It's my favorite flower. But I also really took note of how a sunflower grows and the processes in which it goes through. And sometimes I guess the changing environments that it also has to go through as well to kind of make it become a full sunflower. Self-made. No, I'm God-made. I wouldn't be solid if I allowed the trade. Less of me and more of him. That's why this life of mine, I can't make a film. I'm not a character and you're not the director. These gems come from a private sector. I healed inside, so no matter what the virus, I produce more faith, hope, courage, and light to this journey, just as an iris. Welcome to the Garden of Peace. We rest here for all is with time and patience, constant gratefulness and kindness, and the growth is blatant. We are they. How we walk is the resemblance of what I speak, no shame. I dance in the rain of the holy shower. God, please water this bountiful flower.
Natasha, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being a part of the Patio Book Club. I know I really enjoyed listening to you speak. Natasha's book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You should run out and go grab a copy. Again, the title of the book is called Spoken Word by a Spoken Soul, Her. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. All her links will be in the podcast description, so you can reach out to her and connect with her. Again, I want to thank everybody for spending time with us today, being a part of the book club and listening. I will be back next week with another episode. I am your host, Kelly Morgan. You have been listening to Bright Headed Publishing Patio Book Club. And as always, keep writing.